welcome back. Of course, it's an amazing institution that's been around for many years, very important year-round, this time of year, of course. Shepherds of Good Hope. With us right now, the president and CEO of the Shepherds of Good Hope, Deirdre Friedheit, is with us. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
To see you. Have you had an interesting year, I guess?
We've had a very interesting year. It's been very busy.
Yeah, very busy. Everybody knows about the Shepherds of Good Hope, but if you can just give us a quick rundown of what you guys are all about.
Sure.
Tell us, and how long you've been around for as well.
We have our 35th anniversary coming up in 2018, so that's coming up very soon. We've been around for that long. What most people think about when they think about Shepherds is that we operate a shelter and a soup kitchen, but we also have 5 supportive housing residences spanning from the downtown core right straight out to Canada. So all told, we serve about in the soup kitchen itself, we serve about 600 to 700 meals a day to our clients and the Lower Town community, but we also have another 250 residents that live with us permanently. So we've got a fairly large, a large swath across the community.
Pretty important place you've got going there. How many volunteers, how many people does it take to keep this running on a daily basis?
Yeah, that adage about it takes a village is definitely applicable to Shepherds. We have, generally we have about 400 volunteers that work with us throughout the year. When it comes to this time of year at Christmas time, it swells to about 1,000. So a lot of community groups come in, a lot of people come in at this time of the year to help out, which is great. We're really lucky to have such a supportive community.
So why is it so important? I mean, obviously to support the Shepherds Good Hope at this time of year. It's a sense of community, but you're helping out in a big way.
Yeah, I think people connect with what we're trying to do at Shepherds. We work with many of the most vulnerable men and women across the city of Ottawa. So often people are forgotten at Christmas time when they're living in a shelter, or maybe even in a supportive housing residence. They may have lost connections with their family. So it's a nice way for people to give back, to actually help us help them remember that they're not forgotten at this time of the year, and that there is a community that's here to support them when they're in crisis or distress, whatever that may be. So our job is really to, we're very passionate at Shepherds about making sure that we meet people wherever they are in their journey without any judgment whatsoever. So our job is to just meet them where they are and try to help them get to whatever stage of life works for them, to hopefully give them a better quality of life when they're ready for that.
Maybe putting you on the spot, but throughout your history, how many, since the doors opened, do you know how many people you've assisted?
Oh, that's sort of the McDonald's Arches question. I actually can't answer that, but I mean, thousands and thousands and tens of thousands, absolutely. Yeah, in 35 years for sure. Okay,
so how can people help this time of year? What donations are possible? What ways can people donate?
We have lots of people who are donating food and clothing and warm things like coats, hats, mittens, those kinds of things at this time of the year. Quite honestly, cash donations are really, really helpful because we can actually make them stretch a lot farther. Particularly when we're thinking about ordering food, with the number of people that we're serving every day, we can actually stretch $1 quite a bit further if people are willing to make a cash donation. So we get all kinds at this time of year, and we're certainly thankful and welcome them all.
Okay, so how can people donate? Because obviously, I mean, you have the website, shepherdsofgoodhope.com, but if they are wanting to make not just a cash donation, but physical donation, would they drop by?
They can drop by. We're located at 233 Murray at the corner of King Edward and Murray in the Bywood Market, and our phone number is 613-79... Oh, I'm going to give my cell phone number.
Don't give out your cell phone number, that's awkward.
It's on our website. That's not a good way to start. I'll have too many calls and can't answer them. 8210-789-8210. To call the number directly, and our staff would be happy to help.
Don't feel bad about that, because I also work in radio, and once instead of giving out the request line number, I gave out my cell phone number, and I was wondering why people were texting me. It happens. So lots of events happening throughout the month of December to help out as well?
Lots of events. We have Christmas parties in every one of our programs. We have 7 programs in the shelter alone, and then within our residences across the city as well, we have a lot of things happening to try to help people celebrate this time of year. And for those who don't want to celebrate, it's also to help support them at this time of year, because it can be a lonely and a sad time for a lot of people. I always say there's lots of food in Ottawa, but the poverty of loneliness is something that is a little bit more difficult to deal with.
Wow.
So that's what we're here to try to help with.
Never thought about that. That's so true. I mean, loneliness sometimes hurts more than hunger. So,
yeah, absolutely.
What is it? I mean, one of your mandates obviously is to break a bit of the stigma of homelessness. And how do you do that? How are you able to do that?
I think it's something that's still a challenge for us. I often say when you if we do an article and you want to read the if you read the comments section, it will break your spirit often. We like to try to help people understand that, any one of us could go there at any given time, depending on our circumstances in life. So people become homeless for many reasons, but often underlying the reasons why they get to where they are is trauma. So there's so much trauma with the population that comes to us for services, and that often leads to self-medication, addictions, mental health issues. So that's what we're here to do. We're a social services agency to try to provide support to people when they need it. So busting the stigma is really just try to help people understand that it doesn't help any one of us to judge anybody for whatever situation they're in. They're there for multiple reasons often, and often, for horrific reasons that you and I could never ever be able to comprehend. So they need our compassion, and then they need our help as well. So busting the stigma is just talking about it and helping understand that we're all people, and we should be helping each other, not judging.
Shepherds of a Good Hope, of course, thank you so much for being here this time of year and year-round. Really, the things you do in our community, exceptional. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
We've got more Daytime coming up in moments right here on Rogers TV.